Hi, I'm Gary. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm building the Havilland Tiger Moth in 1/72nd scale from Airfix. This was widely available recently in the UK through Lidl stores, so a lot of you may have purchased one. The kit has also just been re-released with different markings in the main Airfix range. Now, if you like the show and you'd like to support the channel for free, the best way to do it is to subscribe. If you hit the bell, then you'll be notified of all my future content as well. And please don't forget the Imperial thumbs up on the like button below. Okay, let's make a start building this kit. Right, so I'm going to start on the cockpit now. We have to put the seats into the base of the cockpit. You'll notice I put it on just a block of wood to make it easier to handle. A bit of blue tack there to hold it in place. So what we now need is the rear seat, and this goes in here like so. I'm going to just put a dab of glue underneath that. Let's get that there. Just enough to stay wet while we put the seat in place. Normally with these glues you need to put the thing in place and then add the glue, but occasionally with smaller areas you can put like a drop of ultra thin or extra thin or whatever you want to call it, and you can put that on and then put the seat in place, but not always. But it works on this occasion. And then we put the other seat in here. You can see it sits astride the central console like that, and then we can drop some glue in the normal way of doing it, which is just apply it here and it goes in by sort of kind of capillary action. Okay, let those bits dry. So now we're going to put in the control columns. These are really small, so a pair of tweezers is really essential, especially if you've got old fat fingers like mine. There we go, that's the first one. Really careful they don't ping out your fingers while you're doing this, because these you probably won't find again if they go on the floor. Especially if you've got a carpet, forget it, basically. Okay, we'll go into that one there and put a dab of glue in the bottom there. Make sure, there we go. That's settled, so now you can see the columns go in, the control columns are in. Now I've painted the inside, done a bit of dry brushing, done a bit of shading. It's quite sort of in your face, but then when this is all boxed up, you probably won't notice it so much. I'm going to do these little doors here. I'm going to do these open on this side. So what we need to do is cut these out because there are replacement parts for them, and just drill these holes here. But also I have to drill or cut out this part here because there's some anti-spin strakes that were added later to regularize the spin characteristics. So I need to cut this out and this bit here out and this bit here out, and then drill these holes here. Quite a faff for a series 1 kit or skill level 1 kit, I think. So the sides here I'm going to cut with my razor saw. Like so. And I can use the tip of the saw just along this edge here to open up this line, and then finish that off with a craft knife. Then we have to look at putting the replacement part in, and it's a case of getting it roughly right and then seeing where we might need to file this down. I think we're not too bad. I think we might just need to open up the this end a bit, maybe, because that kind of fits okay like that, but it's just not sitting straight in there. So just need to fiddle around a little bit and get it roughly. Actually, it's not too bad. Just need to square off this end of it here in there, and then it should be okay. And then just glue it in place. So there we go, that's it like this, and we can just fill in those edges a little bit, sand it down a bit, and it will be fine. For the cockpit, I can put the crew figures in now. Painted them a bit like RAF figures, even though this is a civilian registered aircraft. I thought they might as well have look vaguely service-like. There we go, like so. So we'll let those dry, and we'll tidy up the fillet on the fuselage here, and then we can put the two halves of the fuselage together. So next we put the instrument panels in. We just painted them black and put the kit decals onto them. So they fit in here. You can see that the coaming of the instrument panel just sits proud of this part of the fuselage there. Those are in. We now need to put the pilots in place. Thus, what we're going to do now is just put these two sides together. So what I'm going to do is just dob in some bits of glue into the alignment holes like that. And then I'm going to put these together, and then I'm going to make sure everything's fitting, tape things up, and then run glue around the kit, or around all the seams separately. So, okay, we've got the engine cowling here. I'm just going to pop the exhausts in. They stick out the bottom like that, and then just rest against the other side. There's a little slot that they sit in, and we can just add a bit of glue in. So with the fuselage here, it's all boxed up now. I've put some tissue over the cockpit area with the pilots and all that. And now we're just going to take the engine cowling that we've just made, put the exhaust pipes in, and it just clips over like so. And we can just glue this in place. Now the fuselage I've primed with pink primer. This is this Tamiya fine surface primer in pink. I've done that because it's going to be red, and red over grey looks terrible. Red over white looks too bright. Red over black just don't really work. You know, I'm talking about using acrylics, water-based acrylics here. I'm using this red, Model Air red here, 71102. It's quite a sort of a magenta-y red, a purplish red, because the real aircraft isn't like this sort of signal red that Airfix think it is. So it's that kind of red, and that's what I'm going to be painting this on. So I put a pink background primer on, because I think that will take the red that goes on next much better. Okay, let's catch up with what I've been up to. So I've painted the fuselage in red. Remember, I primed it in pink and I've painted it in red on top. When that's done, I've just added a little bit of black lining to these lines just to bring them up a bit. They're a bit prominent, but you know, when the thing's all small and again everything will be fine. You know, all the wings are on and everything, and it's on a shelf, you won't notice it. Put the decals on each side. Golf Alpha Charlie Delta Charlie. Nice shiny silver decals. I've put the doors on. These come as separate parts. You just paint them interior green and put them on. So that's pretty much it. This has then been varnished and it's ready to rock and roll. I've taken obviously the tissue paper off, so that's ready to go. A few other things I need to do. I have painted the wings. So I painted the wings in silver. So I did a black coat first and then Vallejo aluminium on top, and I've put the two walkway decals on the lower wings as well, so lower wings can join onto the fuselage when they're ready. I've also done all the other flying surfaces, the tail plane, the upper wing as well, and the tail plane and the horizontal stabilizers. Done here with the sort of tail plane here and the fin here. I've done, you can see on the fin there's a small Tiger Cub decal, and on the underside of the lower wing, of course, there's the registration in red. So done pretty much all I need to do. I've painted the propeller black and the spinner silver and applied the two tiny little manufacturer's decals to that. The only thing really left to do, I've painted up all of the struts. The pink bits in the middle here are going to be cut off, so I didn't need to paint those. Those are the interplane struts there. Just get that bit better focus. I've got those and all the cabin struts and the undercarriage legs and so on and so forth. They're all painted red as well. The only thing I've got left to do is finish painting the wheels. Now, if I move these out of the way for you, I have already, I've done one inner part of a wheel. There you can see it's just about to see the DH. That needs to be done over again. So all I'm doing, I've painted the inside red, the hub red, and then I'm dry brushing white over the Havilland logo that's on there. It's difficult to see, but it is there, and I probably will give it another go or two of dry brush just to bring that up. But I'll show you how to do that in a moment. Okay, so for dry brushing, I've been using this paint recently for white dry brushing. The reason I got this was I used to use a Vallejo extra thick, I think it's called Dead White or something like that, but I've run out. So I thought I'd give this a go. Now the reason why we use this or ultra thick paint is the paint is really thick and gloopy. Okay, it's a lot easier to do this technique with really, really gloopy paint. Okay, so what we do is we get an old brush that's a bit sort of bit scrubby, but still flexible. We get the tiniest amount of paint we can on it. That's actually probably too much, so I'll brush that off. Okay, here we go. So this is a sort of amount of paint. Now, just what we're going to do is just brush it across this support. You can see all the time it's leaving white paint behind. We're going to keep doing that until we can barely see any white paint coming off. Then just brush across this and turn this as you go, because you want more than just one part to be highlighted. And just keep doing it. And if you've got just enough paint, just a tiny amount of paint on, it will go on there and it will just pick up on the highlight. Okay, let's see if we can focus a bit more on that. You see now the DHD Havilland. Okay, it's taken seconds to do that. Now let that dry, because it will dull down as it dries, and then do it again. But again, really just look, you can barely see any paint left on here. If you can see paint, there's probably too much. Okay, so then just keep doing the same thing. Don't worry that you're going to go over the tyres, because it's going to paint the tyres later on. Okay, and just keep doing that until you're happy with how bright that is. But I think it's sort of most of the way there now. Get it to focus. There we go. Most of the way there. Okay, we're going to start assembly by putting the lower wing onto the fuselage first, like so. Just going to paint a little bit of PVA glue in here, and then get the windshield, front windshield, there we go, and just pop that into place. And let that dry. And the same for the rear windshield as well. So the fun starts now, because we are going to put the cabin struts in first onto the bottom of the upper wing. Okay, and just tack those into place. So there's another set the other side of the fuel tank. Next, the interplane struts go in. Now try and just balance them at this. Let the glue set up a bit and then just balance them so they don't go anywhere. If you've got a biplane jig, this is a lot easier. I do have a biplane jig, but I thought I'd show how you can make it yourself without one, because most people won't have one. What I think is the best way of doing it is just to tack these caban struts in first on each side. It's a fiddly job, let me tell you. But they will go. If you use a quick drying glue, that will help considerably to keep these in place. And that gives a basic structure to the aircraft. And then you can go in and align up the interplane struts better and get them tacked in. Okay, so there we are. Top and bottom are in of the interplane struts, and the caban struts are in. I would now leave this alone, for quite a long time to make sure it all set properly. Then when you're absolutely sure that the wings are set properly, you need to just nip out these bracing bits in the middle. Now this, again, is where I argue with Airfix's assessment that this is a Series 1 kit, or skill level 1 kit, because it's just not easy. And just clean that up. Now we're going to turn our attention to the tailplane. That slots into the back of the fuselage. So, a little bit of glue on there, and we can put the tailplane braces in, like so. And we put the fin and rudder in as well, like so. The undercarriage legs fit into this little sort of slots here, like so. And they connect to the side of the fuselage here, and then there's a little strut that connects there to fit the whole piece together. And the wheels can go onto the undercarriage legs, like so. Just before we finish now, the tail skid goes in. This is a very, very delicate piece, and I'm not sure how long it's going to stay there on the model, but you know, it's going to go on for now, and we'll try and keep it in place. Looks like something very delicate that is absolutely bound to break. But there we go. So there it is then, the Airfix 1/72nd scale de Havilland Tiger Moth in civilian colours. It's quite a kit to make. There's bits where you have to cut things, you've got to get the struts organised, and once you have got the struts organised, you've got to clip out the supporting structure that they put between them to help you. None of this really screams skill level 1 to me. I found it quite a challenge at times. Skill level 1, no, definitely not. It's a lovely little kit though. I'm going to make another one using some aftermarket and doing some rigging and things like that, which will come up at some point in the future on the channel. But for now, there it is. I suspect a lot of people who bought this from Lidl in the summer have struggled considerably to do what Airfix say you should be able to do, however. I'm not entirely sure that was the best kit to be putting into a marketplace dominated by first-time model makers. But hey ho, maybe I'm wrong. I enjoyed the kit anyway. I hope you enjoyed the video. There it is then. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, then please do remember to subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit the bell to be notified of all my future content. Thanks so very much for watching today. Hope to see you soon. Goodbye.